Hello everybody, new setup. Got this little webcam. I'm trying it out. Well, let's see how it goes. This video, I hope it's gonna knock your pants off. Not in public, I hope. I'm gonna show you something extraordinary. I think it's totally unbelievable. But it just shows how much people travelled around in ancient Rome, between Egypt, India. Got this India hat as well, how about that? And ancient Rome. There were Romans living in India. There were Roman colonies there. And as a result, we had a massive spread of information, and Buddhism really did influence early Christianity and also Stoicism so much. I'm going to argue in this video that Stoicism is in fact Buddhism. It's Buddhism. It really is. And I'm going to prove it. As always, I try and prove everything, or at least offer evidence for everything. You don't have to agree, that's fine. You have your own opinions. Everyone's got their own opinions. Perfect. Look at this. These are sort of Buddhist diagrams of feet, sort of spiritual cosmos sort of stuff, these Swasti glyphs and this sort of stuff. Okay, that's Buddhism basically, and there's more. That's Buddhism as well. Okay, some kind of ancient palmistry for the feet or something like that. I really don't know what this sort of stuff is. I just don't know. It's weird. I don't know what it is. Again, this is the same sort of thing from India. Remember that this is the wheel off the Indian flag, their sacred symbol basically. And I was in Poland in the Poznan Archaeological Museum, and I saw this, and this is a drawing of it because I couldn't find the photograph that I have. And this is done by basically Ethiopians, the Ethiopian church in ancient times. And when I saw this, I thought, wow, isn't that bizarre? And this is what early Christians did. And I was thinking, gee, what on earth is this? And then I looked online and I saw, oh, they were doing the same thing in India. So the Ethiopian church is linked to the church in India in early Christian times, which is linked to Buddhism. What's going on? This is crazy. This is weird and strange. And then there are more links. Now, this is one of St. Thomas's churches in India. And St. Thomas was Jesus' twin. And according to legends, St. Thomas went to India and founded churches there. He wanted to spread the religion. All the others went to the Roman Empire. He said, I'm going to India, and he was presumably converting Romans living in India, who in turn converted Indians, etc., etc., and as a result the churches are still there, and there are still many, many Christian Indians to this day as a result of St. Thomas's activities. But that's not all. Some of these guys, these Romans, went back to Rome, and they did it almost as early as Republican times. They were, and they brought the Asian religion to Rome itself, and they built Rome's finest building based on the Asian religion. And I'm going to prove that right now. Does that sound incredible to you? It does to me, but there's no other way of looking at it. I'm just borrowing this off the internet. I hope whoever made it doesn't mind. St. Thomas's churches. Of course, in the Quran it's rather interesting. They say that Jesus wasn't crucified. That was someone else, and Jesus got away. Who knows where he went? It's so amazing, to learn about ancient history. It's so. Yeah. Anyway, now look at this building. What is this building? This is the Parthenon in Rome. And it is the Pantheon. Pantheism. It relates to all the gods of Rome, and they all were worshipped here in this building. It's made out of, this roof is Roman concrete, which the Romans never seemed to be able to replicate in later times except in some harbours, but they didn't really use it in their later buildings for some reason. I don't know why. But why on earth does it look like this when no other Roman building looks like this? I speculated earlier on it does look like a stupa, like a mound. That is in fact possibly exactly what it is. Romans saw this in Asia and they thought, hey, let's build this in Rome. And if you don't believe me, what do you think Stoicism is? Roman Stoicism. Let me demonstrate. These are some quotes. Seneca, he's a well-known Stoic, and I actually had a professor, and he's dead now, but he actually said, he actually explained it like Stoicism is sort of Roman determination to put up with it. The Stoics are just putting up with it, you know. That's what Stoicism is all about. I'm not really quite sure what that is. To me, it's other things as well. But this is from Seneca, and he actually says, sometimes even to live is an act of courage. That's a Stoic quote. And these guys were basically ascetics. They don't care about luxury. They don't care about the trappings of wealth. They're just sort of like, they're almost the same as early Christians. They're sort of like spurning the wealth of the world and being spiritualists. Sort of, they're kind of like New Agers, really. And true happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. Not to amuse ourselves with either hopes or fears, but to rest assured with what we have, which is sufficient. For he that is so wants nothing. For he that is so wants nothing. Does that sound familiar? Buddhism. Gautama Buddha. It's one and the same as Stoicism. So what's going on? Well, let me demonstrate. Back to the Pantheon. I'm going to show you the Sanchi Stupa, which is one of the oldest, or perhaps the oldest stupas in India, 300 BC. It would have been around at the time of the Romans. And you decide for yourself. Now this one was built about the time of Christ, or 50 BC, something like that, rebuilt again in Hadrian's time. I think this thing was added, this thing at the front. I think they are quite similar. Here we have this sort of hole in the roof almost. There's sort of like a front gate here at this Sanchi Stupa here, similar to the front gate of the Pantheon. You see it again here. I think these two buildings are just so similar. Now I don't know what the interior of the Sanchi Stupa looks like. This is the Pantheon again, with that Egyptian obelisk. So the Romans didn't mind collecting stuff from all over the world, even an obelisk. I mean, look at that. How amazing is that? And an obelisk, a symbol of Buddhism, and they didn't call it Buddhism because did anyone call it Buddhism back then? They just called it philosophy. They went to the East and learned philosophy. They went to Rome and then someone called them Stoics. That's basically what it's all about. And this is just look at this. This is a beautiful display inside the Pantheon. The sun sort of tracks around the side. So if you go to Rome, check this out. This is an unbelievable thing. I'm not sure if it acts like clockwork or. I bet you that it points out solstices and things, and there would have been paintings on the walls here which would have been illuminated in ancient times. Then again, there are ancient diagrams of this, I think, on Roman wallpaper which show it looking very much the same, but of course it would have been tampered with, destroyed, changed, modified so many times. And back to the feet. So, what do you think about that? Thanks very much for watching. I do appreciate it. Cheers.